All right, shalom, shalom. All right, first and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem, Rahakodash. I want to give double honors to our apostles and elder bishops at Great Millstone who continue to rule well and guide us to the Spirit, and double honors to their teachers, the elder high priest, all right, from One West, okay, that provided through the Spirit of Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, the bulk of the doctrine which we teach and believe. All right, and peace and blessing, shalom to the Most High's hopeful elect across the four winds of the earth. I'm the brother Yagadal, I'm one from GMS Houston. All right, back on another lesson. All right, as always, Yahweh Shema Shai willing, this is edifying. All right, and I probably want to I'm gonna entitle this lesson, "You Benefited from Bloodshed." Okay, and who's directed towards Edomites. Okay, not some of them, not a few of them, not the so-called good, bad ones. Okay, you know how Jake always, here's some good white people. Well, no. All right. If they go back to the, first of all, the term white, okay, it should not be associated with that nation. All right. They are the nation of Edom. All right. They are the Edomites. All right. Descendants of Esau. Okay. All right. And there's a great judgment set upon them for the atrocious things that they've done. Okay. Now, people that even if you don't want to believe in reincarnation, okay, it doesn't matter. History can show, all right, that these Edomites, they have benefited from the slavery, all right, here in America, all right, to this very day. Okay, that's why it asks this question to Chat GPT. All right, how many major companies started in slavery? Okay. All right, so you devils, all right, to try to paint the narrative of all right, we all have equal opportunities in America. Oh, you had the same chances that we had. It was all bullshit. Okay? While we was in the fields getting our backs beat, all right, and building your kingdom up, okay, what were you doing? You were establishing generational wealth that still stands today. Okay? There's a lot of Edomites who are just born into riches all right, based off of free slavery, free labor. Okay, so let's get into this. All right, I said, ask chat, how many major companies started in slavery? It says the relationship between major companies and slavery, particularly historical involvement during the transatlantic slave trade and through profits derived from slavery, is a complex and important topic. It's not complex. You have major insurance companies who started during slavery. Why? Because they had needed insurance plans on their property, which were the slaves. All right, Southern Kingdom. All right, mainly Judah. Okay, so they had, just in case a slave ran away, got injured, died, they would have an insurance plan to make up for the money they would lose. Okay, by that injury or that death to their slave or their property. Okay. But let's read on. It says, while few companies today started explicitly in slavery, several major companies and financial institutions either benefited from slavery directly or were involved in industries tied to enslaved labor, especially in the 18th and 19th century. So it's letting you know that there is going to give a list, okay, but it's not touching all the companies who started, all right, during the slave labor, okay, or they benefited directly from that slave money. All right, there's families who started other business based off of the money they got from slavery. Okay, it might have not have been that just initial business or whatever they profited on at that plantation, but the money that the generational wealth that continued, all these companies sprang from that slave money. Okay, so let's get some of the examples. It says examples of major companies with historical ties to slavery. Barclays, all right, number one. I said Barclays, origin founded in 1690 in London, involvement one of the founding banks that merged into what became Barclays, have links to the slave trade through financing and insuring slave ships. So not only did they have policies on the slaves, but they had insurance policies on the slave ships. Okay, so the Barclays family, okay, which that's where you was at Barclay Center, okay, where Nate and them was out there protesting and speaking up for Kyrie. All right, and he acted like you niggas wasn't out there hundreds deep in purple and gold. All right, so this is showing you another prominent, all right, company that was founded, all right, off of the slave trade. Okay, number two, it says Lloyd's of London or origin 17th century coffee house turned insurance market. So you see, that was the thing. All right, the thing was to get into a insurance market, okay, because the business owners, which were the plantation owners, they needed insurance plans, okay, on their slaves' property and boats. Okay, it says involvement should insured slave ships and slave cargo with its cargo, the people, the men, women, and children. All right. It says profiting directly from the trade. All right. Three, JP Morgan Chase. It says origin, bank mergers dating back to the 18th century. Involvement in 2005, JP Morgan admitted that two of its predecessors' banks, Citizens Bank and Canal Bank in Louisiana, accepted enslaved people as collateral and took ownership of them in cases of default. Okay, so these devils have always been in this mindset, and first of all, there's nothing wrong with slaves, but the way you devils went about it, okay, was wicked on a whole nother level, man. Okay, but you have all these prominent companies that have been linked, all right, directly to slave trade money and benefiting from it, man. Okay. It says New York Life Insurance, origin founded in 1845, involvement sold life insurance policies on enslaved people with slaveholders as the beneficiaries. Aetna Insurance, all right, which multiple jobs I've had Aetna Insurance, okay. It says origin founded in 1853, involvement issued life insurance policies on enslaved people and in some cases apologize for his role. What the fuck is an apology gonna do? All for all the bloodshed and murder, all right, and horrific things that you did to a whole nation of people that's affected them to this very day. All right? And Jake will accept that shit. Say apologize, you got to love them, but then you'll kill your brother over 2 pennies and a piece of gum. All right? Sixth example, it says Lehman Brothers, origin founded in 1850s in Alabama as a cotton brokerage who was picking cotton. All right, it says involvement profited from the cotton economy, which was heavily reliant on enslaved labor in the U.S. South. All right, it says Brown Brothers Harriman, origin one of the oldest private banks in the U.S. Involvement admitted to profiting from slavery through cotton trading, and owning enslaved individuals. All right, so let's get down. It says, what's all that section's bullshit. Just to hit the summary, it says no modern Fortune 500 company was literally founded solely to profit from slavery. This is the bullshit, trying to reword it, all right, to lighten the blow. Okay, it says, but several major corporations and banks either profited from, this contradicted the previous statement. Okay, it says either profited from slavery directly through insurance, trade, or finance, or were built on capital and industries enriched by slavery. E.g., example, it says cotton, sugar, banking. If you're looking, well, that's it right there. All right, so let's grab a couple scriptures, man. All right, because like I spoke on, man, while this devil was using us to build his empire and set up his generational wealth, all right, he was establishing the future, man. Okay, the Most High put it in these devils to have a perfectly wicked order. Okay, all right, to gain control through the finances. All right, through all different type of wicked, ill-gotten ways. Okay. And put it in their mind that they're going to rule forever. All right. So this is Psalm 49 9 and 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling place to all generations. They called their lands after their own names. All right, I'm right here in Houston, Texas. All right, named after Sam Houston, a major devil. All right, the capital of Texas, named Austin, Texas, named after Stephen F. Austin. Okay, which were two prominent men in the revolt, the Texas revolt against the Mexican government. Okay, all right, we're in the land of America. All right, Americo Vespucci. Okay, all right, you have all these different lands that Esau has left his mark on. Okay, because he wants his name to be memorized throughout history. Okay, all right, so let's get another scripture. Okay. And I'm going to read this in the KJV first and then in the NLT. All right, this is Psalm 73 and 5 in the KJV. It says, they are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men, talking about the nation of Edom, man. Okay, you motherfuckers done had it on easy street, man. Y'all been, the so-called white privilege is true and have thrived, all right? Now y'all cars starting to catch a little hell. Okay, but y'all been winning, man. All right. You've been being able to get all the different women of the nations, especially ours. Okay, you've benefited in this world in America. All right, financially on a whole nother level. Okay, being set up. All right, through your private schools and better education. Okay, so you can be prominent figures in this world. Getting the buddy system has been through the so-called white people is on a whole nother level, man. All right, they make sure that they take care of their family and put each other in places so they can continue to build. All right, in a way that's a rulership mentality. They're wicked as hell, but they have a rulership mentality. All right, to make sure we set our families up for generations upon generations. Okay, even on a low level, they do that shit, man. Okay, no matter how hard Jake worked, at the top of these companies, it's always going to be Edomites in the dominant positions. Okay, so let's read this in the NLT. It says, Psalm 73 and 5 in the NLT, it says, they don't have troubles like other people. They are not plagued with problems like everyone else. Simple, man. Okay, but that's not the end all be all, man. The Most High is not going to allow you to reign like this forever. Okay, so that's what I said. That's why I chose the title of this lesson was what? You have benefited from bloodshed. Okay, you benefited from slavery. You benefited from all the wicked acts that's been done on the nation of Israel to build up this fucking kingdom, man. Okay, but this is Isaiah 14 and 21 in the NIV. It says, prepare a place to slaughter his children for the sins of their ancestors, which we know through reincarnation, you are your ancestors. Now you're coming back to receive your judgment, man. Okay. It says they are not to rise to inherit the land and cover the earth with their cities. So once the Most High send Yahushua back, all right, and conquer the nations, Esau, your ass is going to get wiped out after a certain period of time. All right, so you won't be able to, even if you wasn't, you wouldn't be able to fight back or rise back up, man, because we're going to be lifted up as gods in the earth. All right, we're going to be feared on a whole nother level under the power and authority and the glory of the kingdom of Yahweh Yahushua. Okay, and you devils are going to be the lowest of the low in the kingdom, man, for 1,000 years before you are done away with, man. Okay, all right, so yeah, all you Edomites, you have benefited off of bloodshed and slavery, man. Okay, whether you want to admit it or not, you benefited one way or the other using the white privilege. Okay, always, hey, you go in the court system and the book get thrown at Jake, but then you Edomites get off the hook constantly. Okay, you get put in rehab, you get a slap on the wrist, and then they let you go. They paint a picture of you being a victim. All right, you had a rough upbringing. What the fuck you think Jake had? A walk in the park? A good fucking time growing up in the hood? All right, destitute of certain necessities and resources to survive in this system. All right, having to resort to drugs, guns, robbery, and wickedness to survive. All right. So that's it for this lesson. All right. Yahweh Shemel Shah willing, it was edifying. All right. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to our apostles and elder bishops at Great Millstone and the elder high priest who taught them. Peace and blessings. Shalom to the Most High's hopeful elect. Keep fighting, keep pushing. We're almost out of here.